Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have to leave for work in a little bit, but I really wanted to create a quick little video for you guys. I really wanted to share with you guys my best foundations for summer for very oily skin. And I wanted to share with you guys full coverage foundations for summer because I feel like usually everybody shares lightweight, very thin, no coverage foundations, but I want to share the ones that I love for when it's about 90 degrees outside if you want a full coverage matte finish all day. So if you guys are interested in seeing all of my favorite drugstore and high-end foundations for summer, you guys are in the right place. Just go ahead and keep watching. Okay, the first foundation I'm going to share with you guys is something that you guys are going to be not surprised at all. This is one of my personal favorite drugstore foundations. I want to say it's one of the, probably not the first, but one of the first two that I bought at the drugstore. I feel dumb saying this, but this is the Matte and Poreless from Maybelline. This is the Fit Me Collection foundation. This is just amazing. I want to say it's $8 to $10. Very full coverage, very lightweight. Even though it is a matte finish, it's not drying at all, which is why I highly recommend it and love it. They have a lot of colors too. I saw online that they recently extended their darker colors, so I'm really happy with the fact that they're kind of marketing towards every skin, because I feel that's how brands should be. I mean, why would you want to limit yourself to only a certain skin tone for buying your products, even though it's kind of dumb? But the only thing that I would change about this foundation, if I could, I would honestly just add a pump to it. It's the only thing that I personally hate about it, but actually I don't want to say hate because I don't mind it. I just would prefer a pump. I don't mind having to dump it out, but I just get a little bit irritated, but not really, but kind of. This is just one of the foundations that works all across the board. I'm sure you guys have already heard about it a million times on YouTube, but if you have not tried it yet, you need to. And the cool thing about this, they have two formulas, one for oily skin, one for dry skin. The one that I have right here is obviously the one for oily skin because that's what you guys click to watch. You guys click to watch a video about oily skin foundation, so what do you expect? But they actually do have a dewy foundation that is the exact same thing, but just a little bit more dewy. So if you are dry skin, but you still want to try this, maybe just get the other formula. Okay, the next one I have right here is one that I love, but I don't personally use this one because this color is awful for me. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. And just like I was saying with the last Maybelline one, they have this exact foundation, but with more of a dewy, glowy formula. So if you are dry skin and you still want to try this, just get the other formula. Because this just general foundation, the Infallible from L'Oreal, is killer in my opinion. I feel they are very good full coverage foundations. This one in particular though is going to be a little bit thicker and it has more of that drier texture as opposed to the Maybelline one right here. I'd say this is going to be a lot more heavier and more moussey, so if you want more of that thin watery feel, this one would be a little bit better. I still love this one, but I personally don't use it that much because this color, which is I think the lightest one, number 101, literally makes me look like a pale ghost. So I would be using this foundation, but I haven't gone back to get my actual color yet because I can probably still use this. I can just mix it with something a little bit darker to kind of work it into my skin. I forgot if I mentioned, but this foundation does have a 24-hour wear, and I would have to agree with this. This little guy literally lasts on your skin all day. This is one of those foundations where you really don't have to set it if you don't want to. I mean, I highly would recommend setting your foundation, but this is that formula that kind of almost sets itself. I just always err on precaution and set my face with my Coty Airspun powder regardless, and I feel that powder just makes every foundation look phenomenal. So if you guys haven't used the Coty Airspun yet, let's just take a moment to appreciate that amazing powder. It's $7 at Walgreens, and you pretty much get double the size of any other brand's powder, so that lasts you almost half a year. Okay, these next two foundations, I kind of want to talk about them together because they're very, very, very similar, but they're different brands. I have the L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover Foundation as well as the Maybelline Dream Velvet Foundation. I honestly want to say that these are both very, very, very comparable, but I feel the Maybelline Dream Velvet has more of that thicker kind of moussey feel. This one really reminds me of the Tarte Amazonian Clay, where when you squeeze it out, it doesn't run, it just literally stays in a liquid solid form. It's a thick liquid, if that makes sense. So if you are truly a grease ball, all day, every day, this one would be a little bit better than this one in my opinion, because this one is still amazing for oily skin, but it has a little bit more emolliency and slip to it, so I feel you get a little bit less of the dry texture. If you do have any dry patches, I feel this one's a little bit better. Coverage wise, I do feel they're both comparable, but I do like this one a little bit better for fuller coverage. I just feel they're honestly so comparable, but I do honestly like this one a little bit better. I like the formula better and the coverage of it, but this one is still amazing. I just feel they're both so similar, but just a slight difference. So if you really don't know which one you want to try out of both of these, I mean, if you're really oily, I would say this, but if you're kind of like more normal to oily, I would say this one. And of course, you can wear this all by itself with no powder, but this one I would highly recommend to put a powder over it because since it has so much emolliency and like hydration in the base of it, I feel like you need to like lock in all of that like extra slip, if that makes sense, just so it doesn't like slide around or make you look shiny. Okay, so that was it for drugstore foundations. I know that there's obviously like so many more drugstore foundations that I did not cover in this video. I didn't want to share with you guys like all of them because I feel like that would just be like pointless. I don't want this to seem like a commercial, so I just wanted to share with you guys the ones that I personally like love and have been using for, you know, like more than like 3 to 6 months because I want to actually like give a really good recommendation on it if you buy it. Okay, now we're going to talk about some of our high-end foundations. I did get all 4 of these at Sephora. You guys know Sephora is my favorite place to shop for makeup. I just love the environment there. The first one I want to share with you guys is the one out of all of these that I'd probably like keep the highest on my list for like the high-end side. This is the NARS Velvet Matte Skin Tint. I just literally get weak when I think about this brand or this foundation or just see this package because I love it literally everything about this foundation. This literally is a full coverage foundation right away, but it has a very thin, like watery feel to it. That's why they call it a Velvet Matte Skin Tint. Even though it pretty much is a full coverage foundation, they call it skin tint because you literally feel like you have nothing on your face at all. The only one thing I would change about this foundation is the price point. It is $45, but I feel like you do get what you pay for. I mean, I've been using this for months now and I still have like about this much left, so it just goes to show you how a little bit goes a long way. I feel like people are always so afraid to buy high-end foundations, but you have to realize usually high-end foundations, you can use less of them and they last a lot longer on your skin. So I feel like if you can save your money or just like splurge on a higher end one, I would recommend buying like one of the higher end ones because a lot of times I feel like drugstore foundations obviously work and get the job done, but they don't always last as long and they don't always have the fullest coverage from the get-go. A lot of them are a little bit more buildable. My second favorite, and I know I'm not really supposed to be doing these in any order, even though I kind of like am with the high-end ones. This is the Smashbox Studio Skin 15 Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation, and you can obviously tell like by the bottle that I use this up like all the way. Now this color is 2.2. This is way too dark for me. I got this probably like at the most like 2 years ago. I don't wear it that much anymore because it's obviously way too dark for me, but whenever I do wear it, usually what I'll do is I'll put it on my face and then I'll add like a very light concealer or foundation on top of it just to kind of like minimize the yellowness, because when I used to use this a lot was when I was tanning, and I never tan anymore because that's the worst thing you can do for your skin, so I refuse to go in the sun or like in a tanning bed. So it's kind of like just sad to think that this used to be my skin color, like not naturally. I'm like, girl, that is so freaking dark and yellow. This is the only foundation that I personally know that is actually waterproof. This foundation is literally, even though it says 15-hour wear, I would have to say all day wear. You like literally get no look of makeup at all, just like the NARS one, but this one I feel like is a little bit less like thicker. I noticed this one has a little bit more of that thin kind of like watery base to it. Now I know that you guys are probably going to be like, why am I recommending this foundation considering it has a hydrated like clam on the front of it? But even though it does have a hydrated formula to it, the actual like finish of it is going to be a demi-matte finish, so I just love the fact that you can put it on and get your skin moisturized, but you still get a little bit more of that kind of like soft matte finish. So the beauty of this foundation is that like the coverage you get is pretty much by how much you put on. You can put on like nothing and get kind of like a no makeup look, or you can really kind of like saturate it in areas and get full coverage like without the look of makeup. So this is probably going to be, besides the NARS one, like out of all the foundations I'm sharing with you, my like absolute favorite. This is one that I just recommend using for any skin type, any scenario. I just love the fact that it's waterproof, because who wants to put makeup on and have to worry about it coming off if you get your face wet or if you're naturally just like sweaty or oily. This little guy goes for $42, so it's kind of around the same ballpark as the NARS one. I feel like they're comparable but different, but still like comparable. I just feel like the NARS one is a little bit thicker. I just feel like it's moussier, if that makes sense. It's a little bit more moussey. This is a little bit more runny, so it just kind of gives you a little bit more of a natural look. Okay, this next foundation is going to be the one that I feel like out of all of these is going to be probably the least amount of coverage, but it is one that you can definitely build up very like easily. But from the get-go, I I'd say that it's probably like more light to medium coverage. And this one is going to be the Cover FX Natural Finish Oil-Free Foundation. And I'm sure you guys can understand why I'm sharing this with you, because it's oil-free, so it's going to be really, really good for if you have oily skin. The thing that I like about this is that it does have a matte finish. I'd say out of all the foundations I've shared so far, this is going to be the most matte. So be careful about like areas that you do have dry skin, because I do notice that this one can cling onto some dry patches if you aren't careful with it. But the thing that I do love about Cover FX and their liquid foundations, they probably have the most colors out of all the foundations I've seen in the world. They literally have like 20 shades with pink undertones, 20 shades with gold undertones, 20 shades with neutral undertones. They just literally have like a skin color for everyone. So I just really appreciate that fact that Cover FX does that, because that's just my literal biggest pet peeve. As you know, I've already mentioned, I just feel like every brand should have a color for everyone. I mean, why wouldn't you want to? Alright, so a last foundation that I'm going to share with you guys is one that I literally fell in love with years ago. I think this is probably one of the first foundations, besides the Smashbox one that I bought at Sephora, that I legit fell in love with, that I still love and use to this day. I'm talking about probably one that you're going to be not surprised, but this is the Lancome Teint Idole. This is 24-hour claim as well, and I definitely like agree with that. I feel like this does last all day on your skin. This one, out of all the high-end foundations, I'd probably say is the fullest coverage from the get-go. Like, the second you put it on, you get full coverage legit right away. So this is not lightweight, light coverage at all. This is legit full coverage the second you put it on. But the beauty of this foundation, even though this claims to be like super matte and whatnot, I do find that literally any skin type can wear this. Even if you are mature, if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, with the driest skin in the world, you can honestly wear this still. It's all about just what you put under your foundation to get your skin moisturized and prepped. But if you do kind of like get greasy or shiny, or if you are going to be wearing your foundation throughout summer, this is one that I like highly recommend for all skin types. I just feel like Lancome never does wrong, in my opinion. Like, I'm trying to think if I've ever used a bad product from Lancome. I don't think I have. Like, Lancome is expensive, but you really get what you pay for with that brand. Like, I am obsessed. Did you guys know that Lancome is actually owned by L'Oreal? So if you want to buy a Lancome foundation but don't want to pay for it, maybe try a L'Oreal one first and see what you think, because a lot of times I find that when brands have parent companies, like the parent company has like almost the exact same formulas, so maybe go try one of the L'Oreal ones first, then if you don't love it, then maybe try Lancome next. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed me talking about my favorite drugstore and high-end foundations for summer. I literally am obsessed with makeup, so I had a lot of fun creating this video for you guys. I really hope you guys had fun watching this. If you guys did, make sure you give it a thumbs up down below, and let me know in the comments what your favorite foundation is for summer, because I'm always looking for the next best thing when it comes to makeup, so let me know what your favorites are down below. And let me know what videos you guys want to see in the future. I really want to get back into the swing of things and start uploading weekly again, because I've been so busy and so lazy lately on my days off that I've been uploading like once every 2 or 3 weeks, but I really want to get back into doing once a week. So yeah, just make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel down below, and make sure you guys are following me on all my social media. I will link everything down below as well. Everything is at Brandon Eska, just so it's a little bit easier to find. But yeah, I really cannot thank you guys enough for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next video.